There were more frequent reports that were that are put in place from what I understand. So the reports to the county and to the commission will be more frequent.
Yep. So
more frequent than
Yes, yeah,
okay,
that's
annual.
So,
Yeah.
so we'll be working, closely, in making sure that we're getting back information and providing regular reporting. And we'll be happy to come back to this body and provide, updates, accordingly.
Okay.
This was for the record, this was a commission initiative, and a part of the agreement with the administration was that Ms. Evans wanted heavy reporting. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So do we have that in the language of the grants?
Yes, it's
Okay.
it's in the language of the contract.
Okay.
Um,
Recognize Felicia if I
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
what I was just gonna say.
So, for clarification purposes, there is, I'm sorry. Generally speaking, the county pays contractors after they invoice, and then you'll get the invoices, you'll get the detailed reports. In this case, there's upfront payment. And so with regards to reporting, the Wayne County Community College clearly indicates the monthly reporting. However, for some reason with Schoolcraft, it says upon demand. And there's another section that says that you submit reports as required by the agreement, but again, it's upon demand. So then there is no requirement that they automatically do those 30-day reports, monthly reports. It would be upon request of the department. So we did request the department to change that so that it's clear, especially in situations where you're doing advance payment to ensure that these public funds are using appropriately. You don't want to wait 2 years later after they're spent to determine that something was wrong. You want to know immediately so that you can address those concerns before they continue to expend public funds. So that language is still in the Schoolcraft agreement with regards to upon demand. So based on how it's written, it would be contingent upon the department actually monthly requesting those reports based on how it's written. Now, whether the college decides to automatically do them anyway, but we're going by what you're approving and what's in front of you.
Okay.
And that's upon demand.
Okay. Commissioner Kenlock again. Oh,
Thank you, Mitt. I was
sorry,
just
but-
going to say something that I read in the analysis. I'm glad Felicia clarified, but I think go ahead, Jonathan.
Okay, so the requirement for Wayne County Community College is to be for all of them. That is the intent. With this resolution, any action today, let it be reflected of that.
That,
Monthly reporting
Monthly
as
reporting.
the same language that is in there for WC3.
okay. And so for Schoolcraft as well as Wayne County Community
That's
College
correct.
is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
monthly,
Okay.
yeah.
Amy, are you still with us?
I'm still here, yes.
Okay. Schoolcraft is okay with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how
Okay.
we do most of our grant reporting, so it's perfect.
Okay. So our council hopefully will be able to make sure that that is done before we approve this in full board,
Okay,
full commission,
very good.
that-
Thank you.
that it will be a monthly report.
So
That's-
just,
yeah.
just for
Thank you.
clarification, because I heard Commissioner say the resolution. Are we saying the resolution, or we're saying actually have them just delete that one phrase in the contract itself?
Wherever the conflict is
Okay.
caused. the
Okay,
creating
I'll work with the
for
department.
us,
We'll get
yeah.
that done.
Very good.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Amy. I think that's all I have. Was there Commissioner McCormick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The SIMCA contract that we have, and the work we're doing around talent, is there any lapping of services? Because, I think we had like a $20 million contract for, so how, are they working together at all to provide these services?
So what you're referring to is our Wayne Link program. That was the $20 million workforce development program from ARPA funding that is up and active and utilizing numerous subcontractors at the moment. And where the goal for that, working directly along SEMCA, is to help folks find jobs. Now it's in the same universe. However, these are going specifically to the colleges for their programming, for their students to create those pipelines. You know, at the end of the day, when they're in their universe, I'm sure that they're having conversations. But again, these are separate programs.
Okay, so I would think that we should at least have them connect if they're not. Because it just makes sense, so that they're maybe not doing the same thing or providing the same services,
Happy to
and they
make
can work together.
happy to make any contacts or connections for folks, and that's part of economic development. Happy to make those bridges.
Great, thank you.
Did you want,
Okay,
Commissioner Kenlock?
so we're gonna take it all at one time, or what's your thought?
Those three, we'll do those together,
Okay,
or two, I'm sorry.
up to Mr. Chair. Move approval of items 1 and 2 with the stated changes to the resolution and the contract. Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think we have to vote individually. Is your tablet
No,
working
it's
at
not
this
working.
point? Still not? Okay. Yeah. So electronics is out. But anyway, Madam Clerk, did you take the vote?
You want to do a roll call vote?
Yeah, I think we have to, right? You don't have to? Oh, okay, we don't have to. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Changes.
Seeing none, those two items are approved. Okay, moving on the agenda.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of the appointment of Hassan Sheikh to the Wayne County Housing Commission Board of Directors.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that appointment. I'm just looking for some type of a annual conflict of interest report. I would think that's always required, but I wanted to make sure that is in there, Madam Legal Counsel. Also, while you're looking for that, it did not seem to, individual members of the commission are covered as far as a conflict of interest, and they not receiving any payment, but it did not preclude or prevent family members. So just, I think that's been something that we've had in years past, and I would like to see that included. If there's not a problem. Yes,
So that would be any family members of any of the commissioners would not, that'll be a conflict.
right.
I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I'm saying
the,
the commissioners who are on the board, the housing commission.
right, Housing
Okay,
Commission.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And annual reports that we will be receiving annual reports on the actions of the Housing Commission and receive that we receive you receive approval from the county commission for projects that require any county funding. And then are there any services that'll be paid for by the county for the housing commission? Or is it, I'm sure you'll have some expense as far as and need for whether it's record keeping, whatever. How do you envision that working?
Yeah, so initially in this phase, as we're, looking to get the commissioners appointed to do the research of the type of housing commission that it's, could be in the future, through various years and different sources of funding we're, looking at. Initially, for the onset, it will probably be staffed by, the department as we currently do for the EDC and BRA until we get more concrete information after the exploratory stage with the commissioners is over.
But at some point, and not too far distant future, they'll have their own staff for the commission, the housing commission.
So right now that is how we're going to potentially look towards building it out, but we're also going to be evaluating what the needs are.
Okay.
So based on the needs, based on the commission needs itself, how many staffers, to start it off, our economic development staffing will be staffing it and
Okay.
applying towards it. But as it gets built out, if there's additional needs, we'll make sure to keep this body aware of the changing needs of the
Okay.
commission.
And competitive bidding for this is another concern that wasn't aware that whether it's in there or not, but we're going to have competitive bidding by the Housing Commission, correct?
It'll follow all procurement processes.
Okay. Alicia?
Through the chair to this honorable body, Commissioner, you said a lot. So I'm gonna try to remember, and if I leave a topic out, you may have to stop me. So as everyone knows, or maybe you don't know, there is a Housing Commission ordinance that was adopted back in 1994. That's currently on the books. That ordinance does require annual reporting, I believe, back to the commission, if I'm not mistaken. With regards to conflicts of interest, there is a provision in the ordinance that says that members of the Housing Commission themselves or their officers can't be involved directly in a contract that they're letting. However, it doesn't speak to family members. I don't know that they will be required to actually make some type of annual disclosure like you are. So while the ordinance says it can't happen, practically how that works, who's monitoring, what the disclosures are, is unclear at this point. And it definitely does not include their family members as currently written. With regards to commission approving projects that's funded by the county. So the way the ordinance is currently written, the contracts and the leases and the deeds or whatever else the Housing Commission undertakes at this point will be in the name of Wayne County. So those items will be coming back to you for approval. Now, there is some language that talks about certain things under $25,000 not coming back. So maybe certain things they already have delegated authority to do, but there will, as currently written, some of those items will be coming back to this body for approval. With regards to competitive bidding, because they are a separate legal entity, there is no requirement, just like all of the other entities we have, EDC, Land Bank, whatever, that this body has created, there is no requirement that they follow the county's procurement process. So what that process looks like, I'm actually not clear on. I don't necessarily recall seeing it in this particular ordinance as written. So I can't tell you what that process will be as far as how they will operate and if that would be by competitive bidding. You also mentioned staffing. I'll tell you that when this Housing Commission was initially created back in the 90s, there was an agreement between Wayne County and the Housing Commission for staffing. We see it in our index. So we know that there was an agreement with regards to that staffing. I don't know if they anticipate having an agreement now. I think we have an agreement with the Land Bank for reimbursement as far as staffing, but other entities we do not. I do not know how the administration plans to move forward with regards to that and if the county will be recouping any costs. I think my only other comment would be is that we had some extensive conversations and discussions in a couple of meetings with the department just to try to understand what this is and what their plans are. And I think they've already indicated that they're not clear as far as the scope and what they really intend to do with the Housing Commission. I think there's at least one project that they know they want to pursue. They're not sure on the funding and how they're going to fund it and how they'll get their revenue. And so obviously, you know, they would be eligible potentially for CDBG funds and what's the intent with regards to if the Housing Commission will be granted CDBG funds and how that impacts other communities in the current process. None of that stuff has been answered. It's clear. So there are a lot of questions out there. The department has indicated they'll work through those as they create the body. Yeah, and I think that's everything.
So I think since we're just right now voting on appointing the members of the commission, we can take that up. Some of the things that I mentioned, we can take that up later and when we a revision of the
And Mr. Chair, if I may add, you know, at this current point, the first step to kind of getting this stood up is to get these board members approved.
Right.
And then we'll be working closely with staff as we've had those conversations as council has mentioned, to continue to work together to make any updates and continue to build this as we move forward
Okay.
together.
If the body is okay with this, we will take them all together. Yeah. Commissioner Wilson?
Thank you, Chairman Anderson.
Okay.
Appreciate
I'm
that.
sorry.
Just looking through this, this brief, and obviously there are some good people here that are requesting appointment, but, where'd they come from? I mean, I have no idea. This is the first time I've seen these individuals, and nothing against them, but I'm going through the list here. I had no earthly idea where this comes from. I said the commission approved it. I didn't approve anything like this. I have no idea who, you know, how this got to this point. So that's just my out of curiosity. As a commissioner, I think we should have the respect to know who these folks are. And nobody came to me and asked me anything. Did anybody come to you? Anybody come to you? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how do we get to this point where I'm like a blind cat, I guess. I don't know.
So,
I believe they are all recommended by the administration.
By the administration?
Yeah.
yeah, just strictly by the county executive, but this was
Okay.
brought to us last year.
Oh, okay, so I wasn't
yeah,
here. Okay.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that's why. I'm a
So
blind cat.
if I
Secretary
can just,
Clemente.
yes, this housing commission idea was brought to us in the fall of last year. I went back and checked everything. These people in our analysis, their resumes are all in there, and they were also mentioned back when we were here in the fall, November
Mhm.
10th, 11th, something like that. I do have a question about the.
But before you
yes,
finish, Commissioner Clinton,
Yes,
as a commissioner,
Mhm.
I feel disrespected.
Mhm.
I got a vote on this commission, and if I don't know who the hell, how the heck this got here. Nobody came to me. Nobody said a word to me. Normally, somebody come to my office, they'll say, "Look, this is what we got on the agenda. What do you think about it?" It's like pre-approval, if you will. There was nothing here. Uh,
Can we talk offline? And I
Okay.
can help you out about how to
Oh.
find
Process.
things,
Okay.
the process of things, but,
Absolutely.
I understand the
I do
process.
have-
I know one process. I have a vote, and that's the only process
and
I
you can
care about.
abstain today.
Okay.
If you don't feel
Well,
comfortable,
well.
because then we can, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
okay, that's your opinion, but go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Chair.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
trying to help you, but I do have a
I'm
question.
good. I'm good. You don't need to help me. I'm
So
good.
these are all appointments by the executive. And then I'm looking at the term expires. One's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And maybe this is just how, is
Staggered.
that exactly how it's done?
Yep. You know, so two items. First and foremost, Commissioner Wilson, there was no disrespect intended. I apologize if that's the way that it was perceived. It was not intended in any way from our part. We respect you as a commissioner, especially as a new body. From our end, it might have been an oversight as this had come to the body in September and all the items were there and we introduced all the members that are the potential appointees at that time. So we do apologize if any, you know.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you,
If
Hassan.
anything was taken that way.
Thank you, sir.
When
Appreciate
it comes to the actual format, you know, so we're looking at a staggered format. This way, you know, you have a continuous flow with the board, and you're not getting 5 brand new members at one time. And once these terms are ended, then we'll you know bring it back forth in front of you all for new
Looking for
appointees.
continuity.
Yeah.
Commissioner McCormick?
So when we first discussed this commission, one of the questions I asked was if we reached out to the communities to see if there was a need for a housing commission, because each of the communities or many of the communities have their own housing commission. And I'm not really sure how if there's going to be any conflict, or are you going to be working with them? Is there a need? Is that what they're telling you? That they really need a separate housing commission from Wayne County? And is there a way that we can move, I guess, developments forward without having a housing commission? Have we even looked at that? What's the purpose, I guess? Yeah.
So at the current moment, while there are communities within Wayne County that have a housing commission, there are many that do not, that are missing out on opportunities from voucher services and whatnot that we would be able to come in and help with. So there absolutely is a need and a gap that this commission will be filling. When it comes to the communities that have one that's existing, we'll be not looking to overtake, but looking to fill in the gaps and help. Communications have started, and we've had communications. Some need more help than others, but we're looking to more than anything else focus on helping the communities that don't have a commission, and then also work with the communities that do have one in terms of finding out what their gaps are and seeing how we can help. Is there anything you wanted to add to that? Specifically, how many
So-
communities have the commission?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, how many?
Yeah, so currently right now there's 15 operating
Okay.
public
Of
housing.
the 43.
Three
or
communities,
43.
so
Okay.
roughly a third.
Okay,
And then to also add on to it, PHAs have the authority to help other PHAs. For example, MISHA. MISHA is the state's public housing authority. And at times they will come in to support projects from various housing commissions that need support and assistance. They'll normally do like a agreement between the two for those projects.
okay. And we talked about staffing and what that looks like, which you just said you're really not sure. But what is the long-term impact financially on the county if we have to foot the bill for this? What does that look like? Do you have a budget in mind? And where is that budget coming from?
Yeah, I'll hit on that from like the high level. No, we really don't have a budget in mind. And it's a few different factors that dictate that, such as one, not even knowing the amount of vouchers, like housing choice vouchers that the county's missing out on from communities that aren't currently represented by a PHA. So for example, all of these vouchers that could go to, I'll use an example of a community that used to have a housing commission that no longer does eCourse. At one point, I think they had roughly over 500 vouchers that they processed annually that gave an administrative fee to that commission. When that commission was dissolved and went away, those vouchers now went to the state. The state does not have to put those vouchers into Wayne County. So there's this formula for the amount of vouchers that we would receive as a PHA that would give a certain amount of an administrative fee to actually operate the housing commission. So we haven't even gotten to get into those detailed, deep conversations with HUD about it since we technically don't have a PHA. So it would just be a hypothetical conversation with them at this point.
Okay, so I guess that's concerning to me that we don't have a fiscal analysis of any kind to say, okay, this is how much it's gonna cost us to run this new department. And from what you said, I understand it looks like there might be a need because only 15 of the communities. So I'm for housing, believe me, I'm. Exactly. So I just have a lot of unanswered questions and our council just alluded to many of them. Is it a reason why we can't get those questions answered and work out those
No.
details? Or you have to have this board to do that first? Is
Gotta
that?
have-
Yes.
Just as we mentioned, you got to have the board first, because right now it would be hypothetical conversation. Once you get the board put together, then we can have the real conversations about how many vouchers we're missing out on. And then from that, you have admin fees and things of that nature, as well as other formats of funding that we could look into. But right now, without actually having stood up, it's all hypothetical. And the first step, again, which is why it's so imperative that we get these appointments through, is then we can start moving towards that.
So I wanted to call on fiscal representative for the commission, Mary Carr.
Through the chair, Mary Carr, Deputy Director. These are for the appointments. We do not do fiscal analysis for appointments. When the Housing Commission ordinance will come through, if it's deemed, we will do an analysis.
And legal counsel, you
So
had some comments?
through the chair. So I think that's part of the concern, because normally you would create the ordinance, determine the structure, have an idea of what you're talking about, funding or projects or something, and then you seat your board after the ordinance is created. I mean, we're making an assumption that this ordinance will be amended, and it'll be amended in the near future. We actually don't know that. That's something to be determined and still being discussed at this point with regards to what amendments may or may not be necessary. So as staff, we can't guarantee you at this point that you will get amendments, and if you do, when you'll actually get those amendments. I know the department indicated that they're gonna keep you regularly updated. I would just ask that they also keep you updated on the funding piece and specifically any potential changes to CDBG and how they currently do that HUD, home and CDBG allocations. If they're proposing changes to that as a result of the Housing Commission, that they make sure that this body is aware full in advance so you can have that input. But other than that, again, like they say, is some of these things they've already advised us, because we've had extensive discussions that they feel as if they're to be determined in the near future. And I will say, as a follow-up to Commissioner Clemente's question regarding the terms, you have sparked a question that I will get with the department with in Corp Counsel after this meeting, and those terms may change. And I also state for the record that I did pose some legal questions to Corp Counsel regarding the Housing Commission itself. And I'm still waiting for answers. And I assume I'll be getting those responses and clarifications in the near future.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kinlock?
Okay, just wanted, because I've been in conversations with staff regarding this issue as well. I am by no short understanding that we are the legislative branch of the county government. Ordinance belong in this house. When ordinances are amended are determined by this body. How fast we move those ordinances is based on when we introduce it and our staff get those ordinances and they're reviewed back to us. So as this is being set up so that we can get the answers and come to some determination as relates to what we're eligible for, what we will be able to charge back or receive some sort of fees for. That's the purpose of establishing the commission. And the staff and I absolutely understand that she mentioned in the ordinance, there's things that have to come back to this commission. I know the commission sometimes don't understand that we are the legislative body, which means that is our purview at whatever time we want to amend any ordinance in the county of Wayne. So as we're moving through this, there's a lot of reports that will be coming back. And so we're not going to be out of the mix I'm talking about the full commission as it relates to how we stand this body up. The funding has to come through the budgetary processes in order for us to get this going. But housing is absolutely a need. There's 15 communities that have housing commissions. So there is absolutely a need. There are vouchers that are going unused in our county, and we all know in our districts we need them. And with that, Mr. Chair, yes, okay.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Clemente.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am just wondering about if and when we do this, it has to go through here, be approved at full board. Will there be a meeting before we look over the ordinances again, or does the board have to meet and then?
More than likely, the board will meet because we need to know what it is that how we're going to be functioning.
Okay, so will we know when that board meeting is?
Public notice required.
Please, yes. And I would like a list, and I'm sure all of us would probably like a list of what communities do and do not have housing commissions, please. And thank you very much.
Thank you. And once again, a reminder that this is just on those board members right now. As far as revision of the ordinance.
It's a whole nother.
It's a different thing, but I would like us to see that happen, within 6 months or less.
I agree. I would agree with that as well. We want to move quickly and get in the standing
Right.
and address any changes that we need right away.
Our goal is to move as quickly as possible and get this moving and get this going. We'll definitely won't be wasting any time.
Okay. Commissioner Abeidun, I think you had.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe housing is very essential in any community. And I see the benefits for the Housing Commission in the city of Dearborn. They help many, many low-income residents every year in terms of remodeling their homes and renovations. I agree with Commissioner Kinlock. I see the concern of Commissioner Wilson. This is just to set up the housing commission, if you will, and we can change. This is the legislative body. We will make changes as we see, we deem necessary down the road, and we will have our input. So I'm not concerned about that. Thank you.
Thank you. So do I have a motion is everyone okay with taking all three of these at the same, or four of them at the same?
There's
all
five.
Five, yeah, five, I'm sorry. Yeah. There's only five appointments to that, to the Commission of Housing Commission. Everyone okay with
Moved on
making?
it, yeah.
We have a motion by Commissioner Baidoon and support by Commissioner Clemente.
We have a motion and we have support. We need a roll call. Yeah, let's do a roll call, I guess. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Abstain. For the reasons stated, that I really want to get some more details from the administration. Thank you.
Commissioner Kenlock,
Yes.
Commissioner Clemente,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Abstain, please.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
motion carried.
What was the count, please?
The majority.
4 yes.
We have 4 yes, 2 abstain.
Next on the agenda, Madam Clerk.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have nothing. Are you aware of anything? As the clerk, you don't get those anyway, right? Okay, sorry. And are there any public comments? We have anything online or in writing?
No one online,
No. Okay.
and we have no emails.
Okay. Are there anyone present that have any questions or comments? Anyone present? Any comments? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, move on the agenda.
Adjournment.
It's been moved and supported.